with Charlie, man. I just really got up and put on something. I ain't gonna even cap. I ain't feel look good for you niggas. Fuck. Shit. You got that chapter though, man. You got that chapter, how a disturbing serial killer found his victims on Twitter. It's been a minute since we get to that chapter, man. Like I say, consistent source in the building. You feel me? We consistent with this shit. I got 2 videos for y'all tomorrow. Since it's Wednesday, I got 2 videos for y'all tomorrow. Yeah, and Friday my mom's birthday, so I'm gonna post that. Y'all better wish my mom a happy birthday, nigga. Yeah. And yeah, nigga. And tomorrow my grandma's birthday. R.I.P. R.I.P. to my grandma. But we got a video. We'll start the video, man.
The city of Zama, it lies in the Kanagawa prefecture, which is part of the Tokyo megalopolis region. I mean, the city of Tokyo, it's just so sprawling. It's kind of hard to say when the city actually
I ain't ever want to go to
becomes
Tokyo.
another. That is where Zama lies. Now, Japan is pretty well known for being, quite safe, not very many killers there. So when one, when it hits the news, it tends to be quite shocking. And then, usually the killers that hit the news tend to be quite shocking themselves. It's always, mad stuff. It's one of them, and it is the story of Shiraishi Takehiro, who was born and raised in the city of Zama, a man who would later be dubbed the Twitter Killer. He was born on October 9th, 1990, and growing up with his parents and his younger sister, he was basically described as a pretty quiet, unremarkable child. He kept, to himself. He went to the local elementary school and the local high school. In class, his grades, they weren't great, they were terrible. Pretty much like he was the kind of person where not many people would really remember him, but he worked as hard as he could. He never missed a day of school. Outside of the classroom, he was on the baseball team, he was on the track team. Not really like a star athlete, and nothing really about him stood out. Like people would later say about him, he was a pretty quiet guy, the kind of guy who would rather listen to you speak about yourself than speak about himself. But one thing that was just a little bit off, was that Takehiro and his friends, for fun, they would often choke each other. Now, back then it was just, hey, guys being dudes, but kind of,
Don't choke me, bitch.
In retrospect, pretty weird. And in normal spect, too. Takehiro's parents would divorce just as he was finishing high school. Something which seemed to kind of bother him quite a bit. And then in 2009, when he graduated high school, he would go and work in a local supermarket for about 2 years. He did that full time before quitting, and he would have brief stints in a couple of other jobs. He would work in a food factory, in a pachinko parlor. And then he made quite the leap, you could say, from his previous jobs, working at the checkout, stacking shelves, because he made the leap from kind of those jobs to becoming involved in sex trafficking. He went straight to the red light district of Tokyo.
Damn, that chapter. That chapter just said that shit like it was just normal.
Kind of those jobs to becoming involved in sex trafficking. He went straight to the red light district of Tokyo. Kabukicho is the entertainment district in Shinjuku, Tokyo. Nicknamed the Sleepless Town. It's home to bars, clubs, restaurants, and love hotels. Sounds great. But it's also largely run by the Yakuza, the Japanese mafia, so maybe a little bit dicey at times. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of crime there. And not just violent crime, but, drug dealing and sex trafficking. It's the kind of place where you don't really want to forget the hand sanitizer. And nice, quiet, unremarkable Takehiro, he ended up there. He ended up becoming what was called a scout for the gangs in the area. And what he did was lure women into becoming sex workers, essentially tricking them into joining the sex trade and then probably becoming sex trafficked themselves. He was described by those who knew him at that time as ambitious, dangerous man who was capable of betrayal. And another woman who knew him said he was unusually more gentle than ordinary people, but was fascinated with death, including hurting himself. Now, as you may be aware, Japan is unusually tolerant to the idea of hurting yourself. It's pretty embedded in the culture, like these ideas of self-harm and seppuku and all that kind of stuff going back, 100 centuries. It has one of the highest rates of suicide in the world. Only neighboring South Korea is beating it out on that level. And so Takehiro's kind of obsession with morbid stuff like self-harm and death and that kind of thing probably wasn't seen as quite as strange as it would have been, in Western countries. Now, Takehiro, he was arrested for scouting in February 2017, finally, and he was sentenced to 14 months in prison, but that sentence would be suspended, and he would get a 3-year suspended sentence. So he stopped working in the Kabukicho area, and he went back home to be with his dad. Now, remember, his parents had split, so he was living with his dad, his mother, and his younger sister. They had left to go off somewhere else. And Takehiro was very close with his dad as a...
Speaking of getting locked up. Yeah, I remember when I told y'all I had to tell y'all a couple video back, and I told y'all remind me. I had got locked up. Cat's out the bag. Cat's out the bag. I got locked up, bro. On some crazy shit, bro. That's crazy, bro. That's another topic for another day.
Said, they lived together, and his dad, for work, he would design car parts and that sort of thing, and he had his own workshop.
I just hadn't thought about it. I don't care. I ain't thought about it. I was thinking about it, but I was thinking about it when he said something about
that sort of stuff. However, it seems Takehiro's obsession with...
Talk over me, nigga. I was thinking about it, but, you know what I'm saying? I was thinking about it, but he said he got locked up, so I just said, you know what I'm saying? I remember I told y'all what had happened. I ain't doing a video for them couple days. And that was why.
Well, yeah. Started going overboard in the summer of 2017, so a couple of months after he left Kabukicho and all that kind of stuff. Around that time, he said to his dad, "I don't know why I'm alive." Then, in the August of that year, August 2017, he told his dad that he had met the love of his life. He hadn't. And that he wanted to move into his own little apartment. And so he asked his dad to be guarantor of this apartment. His dad said, "Yeah, sure thing, buddy, you got it." So he moved into this other apartment, which was in a neighborhood from where he was from, in Zama. It was about a mile from where he grew up. He moved in there on the 22nd of August, and it seems that then maybe being alone was not the best thing for him, because it seems his fascination with death and with morbidity and all that kind of stuff, well, Takehiro decided the self part, not so much, but the harm part, a big yes. Hi. And the method he used to explore this fascination he had was Twitter.
Magic, monsters, mastery.
I mean, I get on Twitter for one
In
thing.
September 2017, a profile was created on Twitter.
I get on Twitter for one thing. Say what y'all want. I don't care. Hell.
The username, Hanging Pro.
I don't even watch
the
porn
name,
no more.
Hangman. And as you can see, the profile picture was an anime-style dude.
Hey, God, I don't even watch
wrists,
porn no more.
Neck, and a noose.
Straight on Twitter.
So, the bio read, "I want to help those who are having a hard time. DM me." Let me just read out what his pinned post was. "People are bullied all the time at school and work, and when you can't handle the place you go every day and the people there, that'll push you further and further mentally. I think lots of people are suffering and attempting suicide, even if the news isn't covering it. I want to help these people." You probably have a good idea of what help means, what he is kind of implying by there. Like, on first glance, it looks like he's just trying to help people maybe who are going through a dark period in their lives, who he just wants to help.
He basically telling y'all what he got going on.
Help them get better, see the light, people who request, whatever. that's not what he was meaning. He was meaning something a hell of a lot darker. Otherwise, on the platform, he would retweet cute pictures of cats and dogs, and he would also tweet other posts about self-harm and so on.
Don't go to...
As I said, through this, he would meet...
Matter of fact, I might delete my Twitter out the description. I hope it ain't in the description, but don't go on my description. Y'all gonna see... Y'all go on my shit, y'all gonna see it a little way.
People who wanted to
don't go to my
themselves
Twitter.
under
Don't go
the
to my
guise
Twitter. Going through my life.
of helping them.
Don't do that.
In October 2017, Aiko Tamura disappeared.
Don't do that.
She herself was a Tokyo native, and at 23 years of age, she posted about on Twitter self-harm and that kind of thing. Just a couple of months previous, her mother had sadly passed away, and that was something which absolutely devastated her and led her down this path. She then disappeared. She was last seen on October 21st, 2017. It was Aiko's brother who began looking for her, frantically trying to find, the sister who he loved dearly before she could do something to herself he couldn't undo. He was mad and frantic to find her. Upon learning that she hadn't been seen, he went to her friends, to her work, everywhere, and he could not find any single trace of her at all. Twitter is huge in Japan. It's much bigger than the other social sites like Facebook, Instagram. Twitter is way bigger. So what Aiko's brother did, in his desperation to find out where she was, reading what she'd been tweeting about and fearing the worst,
we still get on Facebook down here in the south.
See who she'd been interacting with.
We still be on
and then what he did was he managed to get access to her Twitter account. He figured out her password, and he saw that she had been DMing Hanging Pro. Aiko's brother, then he took all of this to the police.
Wait, how old she was? Did he say, I'm sitting up here talking and shit? I know y'all gonna be in the comment, bro. Y'all finna wind the back, nigga. Yeah. She look young as shit, though.
Said, through this, he would meet people who wanted to hurt themselves under the guise of helping them. In October 2017, Aiko Tamura disappeared. She herself was a Tokyo native, and at 23 years of age, she posted about on Twitter self-harm and that kind of thing. Just a couple of months previous, her mother had sadly passed away, and that was something which absolutely devastated her and led her down this path. She then disappeared. She was last seen on October 21st, 2017. It was Aiko's brother who began looking for her, frantically trying to find, the sister who he loved dearly before she could do something to herself he couldn't undo. He was mad and frantic to find her. Upon learning that she hadn't been seen, he went to her friends, to her work, everywhere, and he could not find any single trace of her at all. Twitter is huge in Japan. It's much bigger than the other social sites like Facebook, Instagram. Twitter is way bigger. So what Aiko's brother did, in his desperation to find out where she was, reading what she'd been tweeting about and fearing the worst, he then went to her Twitter to see who she had been interacting with. And then what he did was he managed to get access to her Twitter account. He figured out her password, and he saw that she had been DMing Hanging Pro.
Hey, that reminds me of the, I watched that movie a couple weeks ago. What that shit called? Missing with old girl that she played a lot of shit. I can't forget. Y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. It just came out earlier this year. Missing. When her mama go missing and all that shit. The girl played on, damn. She played on, what that show called? Would that be on HBO? It's a female. It really ain't a female call. I watched it. It's a fire show though, but it's about Zendaya. It's about Zendaya. And she plays her sister with Zendaya. And the other lady, she played on a lot of shit too. Damn, what the fuck that lady played on? Miss Park, not. Y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about, man. The lady who played on Friday, the first Friday, when she was jogging, the one who cried like the first time. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah. She played a lot of shit too. I just forgot her name. I know who she is, but I just forgot her name. But yeah, that movie was good though, low key. Missing. It called Missing.
Aiko's brother then he took all of this to the police as, strong indications that something horrible had happened. See, Aiko had contacted Hanging Pro back in September. She contacted him about doing a suicide pact, that she didn't want to go alone. It was then a month later, on the 23rd of October, so a couple of days after she'd last been heard from, that CCTV would capture Aiko and Hanging Crow at a train station and then walking towards his apartment. Then, so to try and track down exactly who this guy was and what was going on, an unidentified woman contacted Aiko's brother, because Aiko's brother was putting the word out on Twitter, anybody who has met with Hanging Crow, who is this guy, essentially. So this unidentified woman, she contacted him and she says, I've met him in person. Now, she didn't go to his apartment, they just met up, went for a walk, and that was it. But this time she said, I can organize to meet up with him again, and this time I'll go to his place. So the police were then involved, and this became like a sting kind of stakeout operation. It was Halloween 2017. You know, a time when everybody's wearing masks and costumes.
Couple days after my birthday.
Except the real monster was not wearing any costume at all.
Damn.
The police were watching everything the entire time as this woman, she met up with Hanging Crow
That's the devil night.
at a train station, and the pair of them then walked together back to his apartment. And a couple of minutes, after they went in together, the police rocked up, knocked on his door. Takahiro, he opened the door, and the police said, here, listen, we're investigating the disappearance of Aiko Tamura. Do you have any information you can share with us? So then, what Takahiro did was, he looked at them, and then he looked back into his apartment, and then he said, she's in the cooler. The cooler was right there. The officers went into his apartment, down on the ground, they looked at it, they opened it, and what they saw staring back at them was Aiko's head. On the floor of his apartment were 7 more boxes and coolers.
Goddamn Jeffrey Dahmer.
And became a crime scene, and the police shut that shit down. This is the layout of Takehiro's actual apartment. Absolutely tiny.
Oh.
And in there, they would find another 8 heads. Littered throughout were arms, legs, and hundreds of bones. And in those boxes, those orange boxes, inside each were human remains. You can imagine how it smelt. Or better yet, do not. And they also found saw, knives, ropes, all covered
Jeffrey
in
Dahmer.
the unmistakable dark brown of old blood. They also found multiple bank cards, medical cards, and other items belonging to the victims.
Damn.
Neighbors would say they smelt foul, rotting flesh coming from his apartment and the bins that he would use outside. Takahiro, he would dispose of the flesh and the organs, but he kept
They would have had to do
the
something about that
bones.
smell.
He also tried to discover what he disposed of.
I ain't no snitch. But I'm sitting here paying on the spot. And it stink like a motherfucker. My neighbor got it stink like a motherfucker. Bitch, I'm calling the people. Fuck all that.
Kitty litter? It didn't really work.
Fuck
The
that.
neighbors would say they often saw him using the bins
I'm gonna feel uncomfortable in my house.
amount, and the
Somebody, my neighbor,
extractor
killing
in his
by
bathroom
killing folks
was
and shit.
on 24/7.
Fucked up.
Takahiro Shiraishi was initially
Personalized service reviews that swap the
That's why it's on commercial.
for strict.
Nah, like I was saying though, like for real though, like what y'all are like. Well, yeah, let's say if y'all paying on some of y'all live in higher places than I live. I stay in Georgia. So shit really ain't that high, except for if you go down to Atlanta with the city shit at. I'm down here in the country. Bruh, imagine you paying $1,000 on a motherfucking apartment, then your neighbor killing folks, and you try to see what the fuck is that smell, and it's your fucking neighbor, and they ain't doing anything about it. What you gonna do? Just keep leaving them with the funky shit? And it ain't nothing in the world stink than a dead body. Not well, if you go to the goddamn trash place where they dump all the trash at. I used to work at the city. Bro, that shit, when I tell you that's the worst fucking smell. That's gotta be either it's gotta be dead, or dead body, or a dead animal. Out of all them, ain't nothing stink more than them 3. And then them top things that really stink in the world. Don't ask me about the dead body part.
with abandoning bodies. But that would swiftly
I was just talking on that part.
じっとしている、淡々と聞いている、そんな印象です。特に
Well, I was just talking on that
淡
part.
々と裁判長の話を聞いている、そういう姿でした。で、裁判長は主文を後回しにして先に判決理由を述べました。
Now, initially,
Oh, he cried,
his
man.
lawyers tried to say, okay, listen, this is not what it looks like. Was he involved in what happened to him? Sure, but this was murder with consent. These were all people who just wanted to harm themselves anyway. And Takehiro
My
said,
my
"Listen,
sideburn,
well,
bro.
I'll
That
help
baby
you
going.
out.
That baby.
I'll help you along this, and I'll give you a hand." But Takehiro himself would tell a different story to his own lawyers. He would say that all of these victims who were found, they expressed online that they wanted to hurt themselves. But when it came down to it, when he met them in person,
You still going to jail?
no, they didn't. None of his victims consented to death. And when he would actually come forward and confess, he didn't deny what he had done for a second. When he was confessing to the police, he said it had nothing to do with self-harm and that kind of stuff. He murdered these people for two reasons: for sex and for money. He did it because these people, they couldn't turn him down, and he also would steal all the money they had and whatever he could sell. Of the 9 victims found, 8 were women. 1 was a man.
Damn.
The boyfriend of one of the women, his first victim, see, he had met up with this woman after Hanging Crow had been DMing her online. They went out for dinner and drinks, but Takehiro was a little bit annoyed when her boyfriend joined them also. So then, a couple of days later, he messaged this woman again, and they met up alone. She went to his apartment, and she never left. A couple of days later,
That's what her ass get. But R.I.P. R.I.P. I was just finna say. Y'all know I was finna say something. Y'all know I can't hold it. I can't hold it. If she went over there, y'all gotta start keeping y'all females and y'all old lady fucking scratch it. Y'all hoes in check. See, why the fuck would she go back over there when you were over there? Now she dead. It's her fault. Am I wrong for saying that? I'm not. But it's
see, he
wild.
had met up with this woman after Hanging Crow had been DMing her online. They went out for dinner and drinks, but Takehiro was a little bit annoyed when her boyfriend joined them also. So then, a couple of days later, he messaged this woman again, and they met up alone.
And she
went
met
to his
again.
apartment, and she never left.
And she
A
died.
couple of days later, the boyfriend showed up to Takehiro's apartment saying, "Where's my girlfriend?" He went inside also,
Oh.
and did not come back.
Oh.
What he would do was invite all his victims over.
Damn.
He would then drug them with alcohol, sleeping pills, and tranquilizers. And then when they were unconscious, he would strangle them to death.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
And then to dispose of their remains, he would cut them up. And he said that his first victim, it took him 3 days to dismember. But after that, he had it down to 1 day to dismember them.
They all take
The
a
oldest
day.
victim, 26 years of age. 4 of them were teens, 3 in high school. One of them only
They all take a
15
day.
years old. It was 9 victims over 2 months. As soon as he moved into that apartment, he started looking for victims online, looking for people who were vulnerable. Essentially, people he felt he could lure over with his page that was all about self-harm and that kind of thing. He would DM them, start chatting, talk about what they would talk about, and then he would get them over to his apartment, drug them, kill them, chop them up, keep parts of them in his apartment. At trial, Takehiro fought his own defense. He said, no, the indictments are true. Everything the police said is true. He did it all. Like his defense, that they were trying to find, he's not mentally competent. He wasn't in control of his own actions. But psychologists examined him for 5 months. They found he was fine. He knew every single thing he was doing. He was all there, and he was found guilty of all 9
Nigga, the
murders.
devil didn't make you
He
do
was
it.
sentenced to death. The death sentence in Japan is carried out with a noose.
やっぱ実際聞いてみてみると、やはり私の中でも頭の中で想像とかもしてしまうので、ちょっと夜とかは、思い出すこともあったので、ちょっと負担に感じたところ ころはそういうところだったのかなと思います。まあ、殺害方法の残忍さとか、まあ、ちょっと詳しくは言えないけど。
At his sentencing, he said, I am sorry for having killed some of the victims with whom I spent a lot of time and would like to apologize to these families. But for the others, I don't really feel a deep sense of regret. In any case, I am sorry only because I failed when I got caught. If I wasn't arrested, I will not be regretting anything. To be fair, he's refreshingly honest for a psychopathic monster.
まだ判決が出ましたね。白石貴弘被告に死刑判決、主文後回しということで、今日2時判決公判スタート、中継をお伝えしましたけども、主文後回しで判決理由を読み上げた後、死刑が言い渡されたということですね。白石貴弘被告に死刑判決です。神保さんどうぞ。
はい、強盗強制性交殺人などの罪に問われた白石貴弘被告に対して先ほど死刑を言い渡しました。その時の白石被告の様子ですが、椅子に座ってじっとしている、淡々と聞いている、そんな印象です。特に言葉を発することもなく淡々と裁判長の話を聞いている、そういう姿でした。で、裁判長は主文を後回しにして死刑判決が出た場合はしないと、そういうふうに話していて、その判決を受け入れる姿勢を示しています。ごめんなさい、こちらから以上です。失礼しました。
He wouldn't seek any appeals to his sentence. He was like, yeah, I did it all, hands up, you know. You got me fair and square. I'm annoyed you got me, but I'm not annoyed, you know, I'm not remorseful for anything I've done. He said he would not appeal his sentence. Pretty much just accepted that, yeah, he was a monster. He did not feel empathy for any other human being ever his entire life.
Fuck it, I'm finna do another video. Fuck it.
Straight up. This is, once again, like we've seen in other stories of monsters prowling the internet, a story of a man seeking out some of the most vulnerable in society. Unfortunately, monsters do exist, and he is most definitely one of them. Someone who is never sorry about what he did, only that he...
Yeah, he lying. I ain't got no. Yeah, he lying. He a damn Jeffrey Dahmer, damn 2.3.0. Nigga goddamn, the nigga sick. Motherfucker sick. And two of them could have been avoided. If the girl went back over there, it would have been avoided. Because the boyfriend would have went over there to try to find his girl. It would have been avoided. All that would have been avoided. Good thing that the girl, I forgot the girl's name, but the one I was saying, she bought my egg. Good thing her brother goddamn hit the police up. He would have goddamn probably killed him too. Just being honest. That being said, man, give me a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. See how motherfuckers on that video. Let's ride, I mean.